everybody and their mama says, yeah, I speak English. Only 25% of English speakers are native speakers. So now that's over a billion people. You need to prove that you can read, write, speak, and understand English with one of these tests. So that the stakes are high. You're probably also studying for the test while you're still working because a lot of people can't afford to take that much time off. So yeah, with IELTS, how long should somebody optimally be studying for that test before they actually take it?
That's a very good point because we see that in a lot of countries now. Most of the time, it's what you said, Gabby. Oh, yeah, I know English. And you see that in a lot of companies, in some countries, not all countries, that they tend not to ask for certification. For example, I know that in Italy, sometimes they don't, or in Spain, sometimes they don't. So, what happens when someone decides that, okay, I have my bachelor's degree, but I need to go for my master's degree, and suddenly they have to take an exam which requires a 6 or a 7 out of 9 as an overall score in IELTS. There's this huge gap, and then suddenly they're supposed to take an exam that basically says what their future is going to be, whether they're going to get into a university and do the master's degree or the bachelor's degree or whatnot that they want to do. On the other hand, if they're doing a general IELTS, then you have people deciding what you said, right? They're going to move to another country, they're going to work in another country. And if that country is an English speaking country, okay, you're going to take the IELTS, you're going to get your work visa, whatever. How are you going to communicate with those people? So it's not like I'm taking my IELTS and I can just then relax and everything's cool. For me, if someone wants to take an IELTS exam, they have to at least spend 6 months on studying the technique, the patterns, the language itself in order to take the exam. Because they need to leave after having sat the exam and say, okay, I've taken my exam, but I also know how to communicate if I need to communicate. I also know how to write if I need to know how to write.
Yeah, that's a big point, especially with the IELTS writing part, whether it's academic or general. Generally, you have to write a letter. Sometimes it's like writing a complaint letter or like I need this letter. And there's a certain formula in English for how you do that. It can't be like, hey, what's up? I need this. Okay, bye. So there's like a whole format that if you're used to casual English, you won't know. You can Google these things online, you can find them on ChatGPT, but to have a native speaking teacher or a very high level non-native teacher help you with this is important to just smooth out those last few rough edges that the AI can't get for you.
Yeah, because AI, I mean, all right, it is the future, but it's not going to be around all the time for you. You're not going to flip out your phone and have Chat GPT talk to someone in a store if you want to complain about something, right? Or talk to your manager if you want to talk about something. You're going to have to do it yourself or write an email at uni. You have to write academic papers. We all know what happens to people who use ChatGPT to do that. They usually get caught out by their professors, which is never a good thing. And I think that especially, with writing, that's a massive insecurity that people have. Most people don't like writing. They say they don't like it most of the time. But I think they fear it more. It's because it's the unknown. Who's been taught seriously how to write something, not just a template, to feel it, to be able to write anything. You need to be taught the techniques that you can utilize in the future, whether it's IELTS, whether it's like writing an email, writing a letter, as you said, or simply, writing a note to someone at the end of the day.
Even if we have a AI in our phones, I've been seeing a lot of like dystopia, usually Star Trek because I'm a Trekkie, but they'll have situations where it's like, oh no, the universal translator isn't working. I haven't learned any other languages but my language. If you're the person who can, this is an English expression, but off the cuff, like without having to think about it, be able to write something, say what you mean, that will give you an edge on someone who needs to have like a minute or two to talk with ChatGPT about something. So ChatGPT is helpful for everyday stuff, but especially when it needs to be an answer within the second, you have to know how to do it yourself. So that, as you said, Debbie, takes some time to make it like muscle memory in a way.
Yeah, basically, that's it. Yeah, it has to come, naturally. What do I do in this situation? This. What do I say in this situation? This. how do I say it? Because the way that I speak to you, or the way that, like I speak to my boss, or the way that I speak to my kids, or whatever, it's going to be different. We're not going to be speaking in the same register. We're not going to be speaking in the same style. So our brain needs to be able to switch, whether we're talking about speaking, whether we're talking about writing, or whether we're talking about listening. Because if we're listening to someone speaking, we need to realize, what's the style? Is it business-like? Is it a formal register? Is it informal? Are they using colloquial English? What's the colloquial English that they're using? What are they emphasizing? All of the things that we, in our native language, pick up immediately. We can't do that immediately with a language that we're learning. It takes time, it takes practice. And one of the things in listening tests is that will help me understand, and in the exam get a better score, of course, but in life be able to respond. Because we all know that today people are really bad listeners. Like in an exam, oh wow, oh, that person's speaking too quickly. Oh, I've missed this, or oh, I've missed that. Then half the test is gone, or half the section is gone, and we've missed out. So what do? We have to learn, we have to practice and learn how to listen properly, how to write, express ourselves properly. A good writer, I think, is a good speaker, just like a good reader is a good speaker and a good writer. We're going to have discussions about the TOEFL and the OET, GRE, the GMAT, Cambridge exams generally. But what we're going to do is we're going to delve deeper into how people can develop specific techniques that will not only help them pass their exams, but will give them skills for life as far as English is concerned. And I think that's really, really important. We need to delve deeper. We need to help people who feel self-conscious about speaking, who get stressed during exams, who don't know how to organize their study plan, relaxation techniques, how to take notes, how to take breaks. What do we eat when we're studying for exams? At the end of the day, there are also people who can't afford the lessons, or, like they may live in countries where their economic ability is not the same as in other countries, who stress out even more about, where am I going to find information about this? How am I going to be able to get the certificate that I need to get in order to go where I want to go?
Yeah, I think that's important. You mentioned that there's tiers to this. It could be someone who's still in their country and they don't plan on leaving. They just want to work for like a multinational, and that might be a requirement as part of the interview process. But what we're doing here for you guys is we want to have this podcast to try and explain pain points, specific pain points that come up when you're studying for these exams. We're going to have Udemy courses focusing on different portions of the exams. If you're really like, I want full on support, I am going to be the person who is the face of the exams, because Debbie prefers to be incognito so she doesn't get swarmed on the street. But if you want to have a professional help you to prepare for the exams as like a consultant, or have your team prepare for these exams, Debbie is the person. Either way, no matter where you are taking this test, these tests are life changing once you pass. And that is a great place to wrap up episode 1 of Beyond the Questions. If you like what we're talking about here, you can follow us both on LinkedIn. I'll put those links down in the description below. And if you really like what we're talking about and you want to learn with Debbie, we can set up a time for us to talk about if Debbie has time for you. But until next month, this is Gabby and
Debbie saying,
see you later.
bye.